Hi, everyone. Welcome to Art and Talk. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Leslie Sue, the host for Art and Talk. If you happen to be new to us, Art and Talk is all about meeting artists and being inspired. We embrace the traditional arts and the spiritual arts to bring you diverse and quality interviews to watch and to be inspired by. If you've been watching us for a while, thank you. We appreciate your continued support. We hope you're enjoying our videos and always drawing inspiration from them as well. All right, so today our guest is going to be taking us into our final artist interview for 2021 as we're getting ready to close out 2021 and ring in the new year here in just a couple days of 2022. So our guest for today is a very talented musician. She's a singer, songwriter, and we're going to dive into her music and her journey. We have a video to watch of one of her beautiful performances, and she'll also be performing a couple songs for us here as well. So again, thank you so much for being with us. And I'd like to welcome our guest for today, Annie Bonsignore. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, Leslie. Thank you so much for having me. It's great
Oh,
to be here.
yeah, absolutely. We've been so excited to have you here. Where would you like to start, Annie, in your musical journey? I know you come from a big family and a musical family, and you started composing at a super, super young age and singing
Yeah,
professionally. Can you tap us into kind of like your origins of beginning as a musician and singer-songwriter?
sure. Well, when my mother is a music teacher and my father used to play the guitar in a band and sing in a band, and my mother is still a music teacher. Um, and she always said she would never marry a man who wasn't musical. so, and then my father, just luckily enough, they fell in love and they had 7 children, myself being one of them, and we all are in music. I started singing on stage and in competitions at around the age of 6, and started composing music. I think I was around maybe 11 or 12. And I actually wrote, that's a lie, I wrote my first song at around 8 or 9. My mom gave me a guitar for my birthday, and I wrote my very first song on the guitar, and it was for Mother's Day. And I sang it for my mom. I learned 3 chords that day and played it for her. And anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but that's basically where it started. And my mom, she taught all the ensemble groups. She taught choirs, and I guess I started singing at weddings and things like that, as well as, like I said, competitions and festivals and things like that.
Yeah. So wow, you started really early, just having all these amazing experiences. And thank goodness your mom gave you that guitar, and then you just seemed to be a natural. You picked it up, sang a song for Mother's Day, had a couple chords and wrote it, sang to her, and I've had a lot of experience at quite a young age being on stage and competitions, as you
Mhm. Well, it's funny because guitar wasn't my main instrument. I wrote my first song on the guitar, but following that, mostly probably 90% of the material that I've written has been written on the piano. So I also started playing the piano at around 6 years of age. And yeah, so I play the piano and the guitar. And my sister is a concert pianist, and she teaches music in Nashville. And she's also a songwriter. And yeah, it's something that was definitely ingrained in me. I feel like it is a part of my journey, where I'm supposed to be at the moment. I'm a mom to 2 children, very small children, so I haven't had a lot of time to actually produce the music. I have been working on a ton of music since the pandemic started, and again, I'm getting sidetracked, so let's get back to sorry. You asked about the first stages, and that's basically it. So there you go.
Before we hear you perform, Annie, tell us a little bit about the evolution of the piano, because that really seems to be where you bonded. It seems to really, be your instrument of expression in addition to your voice. That just seems to be what you really have solidified as one of your strong skills. Tell us about the attraction to the piano.
Wow. Well, we were in piano lessons. Like I said, I was around 6 when I started, and I wasn't the best student, I would say. I didn't like to practice on the piano, so I played by ear most of the time, well, all the time, and I just kind of faked my way through through these competitions on the piano side of things. I guess maybe because my sister turned out to be a concert pianist, and I saw her practice for 3 hours a day, and we were just on different paths when it came to the piano, in that regard. But I continued to play. I stopped playing. I stopped competing when I was around 13 or 14, and I continued to write on the piano. And it's just all feel and yes, it's a very close bond that I have with the piano. She's always been there for me, I guess you could say. And all the ups and downs in life, I just go and sit at the piano and I cry my eyes out. And sometimes something moving and inspirational will come out, which is always the goal for me.
Yeah. I think this would be a wonderful moment, Annie, to just kind of dive into one of your songs, if you would, for us, please.
Sure. So I'll just tell you a little bit about it. I've been writing with a lyricist in New York. His name is Noel Cohen, and we wrote the song together. I write the music and he writes the lyrics, and we just met a few months ago. And this first song is called Darkest Day. I'm just going to pull it up over here. And I have not released this song yet. I haven't completed recording it, but I did I did produce the backing track in my little home studio that you see right here. So it is. And if you cry, I'll dry the tears. Your smile will reappear. Our hearts collide in the sky, and love will grow in time. On your darkest day, I'll point out the sun. When you need consoling, I will be the one. I'll hold you in my arms right until dawn of your darkest day. Love will be our sun. Home is where they take you in and wash away your sins, and we can face the world outside, as long as love has a place to hide. On your darkest day, I'll point out the sun. When you need consoling, I will be the one. I'll hold you in my arms right until dawn of your darkest day. Love will be our sun. I give my life, I pledge my days darkest day, love will be your song. On your darkest day, I'll point out the sun. When you need consoling, I will be the one. I'll hold you in my arms right up till dawn of your darkest day. Love will be our sun. Love will be our sun.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Annie.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I have not sung that song in a quite a while. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. The darkest days, just so full of emotion, and your voice is so beautiful when you sing, Annie. Tell
Oh,
us
thank
what
you.
is, yeah, what is Darkest Day about?
Well, that's quite a question because well, Darkest Day, Noel, like I said, Noel wrote the lyrics for this song. But every time I write a melody and I send something to him, I feel like he's almost speaking to my soul, and he can just like put his hand right in there and grab from the music. I just feel like he's reading my soul in a way. And for me, Darkest Day, I I've come a long way, because like I mentioned to you, I'm one of seven. Well, I didn't mention this, but I may have sent it to you in one of the little links. Um, but I'm one of seven children originally, and we have lost three boys along the way in my life, in my younger years. So my parents lost three children, and it really changes the way that you view the world, the way that I view the world or used to view the world. So in my earlier years, I feel like I almost lived my whole young life in darkness, in a darkness, and I had reached like the darkest point of my life in around 2013. I was in a bad relationship. I felt like I was just kind of floating along in a bubble in life. I was totally complacent, just feeling very blur, like I had just lost motivation. I felt very numb. And my three brothers, they died. My third brother died when I was 14. He was in a car accident when he was 16, and that was when it all started. And then it started, this journey. Even though I'm a happy social person usually, there was always that underlying darkness and sadness and numbness, that I always felt kind of, like I was searching for something. It, and I got to the point in 2013 where I was like, is this all there is? I remember sitting in my apartment, and just thinking about being in this cubicle. It felt like a cubicle at that moment. Um, and yeah, I rediscovered a song that I wrote from about 18 years ago. And again, it was at a very dark moment in my life when I wrote this song, and it was actually a prayer. Now, because my family and we experienced so much death and tragedy, I had, uh, I guess, lost my faith in God, and I refused to sing the Lord's Prayer in school, and I sort of almost blamed him, um, at that time. And I didn't understand the relationship that other people had with God. Um, and that's how it always was following the deaths of my brothers, and then all of these bad relationships that I got into. Not bad, some of them were good, but um, anyway, so I, uh, where was I? So many thoughts. I reached this dark place. I was sitting in my apartment, and I wrote this song. That was it. I wrote this song, and it was a prayer and it was actually called My Prayer, um, basically begging for something, begging to feel something again, to begging for help. And I found this song and that I had written so long ago, and I hadn't sung it in about 18 years. And I took it to my piano and I sat down and I started playing it. And the tears were rolling. And and then following that, I started little things started to happen to me in my life that kind of started this awakening period for me, where I started. It's weird. I know it's weird. A lot of people might not understand it, but to me, it was life changing. And I discovered meditation, and I discovered how to really live in the moment and to release all of these things that I've been holding on to. So for me, darkest day, um, I guess it's because I've been there. I know that there are many other people, and there will probably be more darkest days for myself as well. I'm sure, uh, obviously this is not the end, but yeah, darkest day. I hope that others can relate to it who are going through something in their lives. And it's also just a message of hope and a message of just to help you realize that this is just a moment in time. You can get through it. And for me, my life turned around after that whole dark period. And now I'm in a completely different place where life is good and amazing things are happening. And also the music I'm writing is a lot more inspirational and not as depressing as it used to be. So that
Annie,
was a lot. That was a lot. I'm
yeah, but
sorry.
that was beautiful. And I so appreciate, Annie, that you shared that. And I think that, a
Sorry,
lot
it's
of
breaking up
people,
a little.
I was saying, Annie, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that a lot of people can relate to that, experiencing darkness, and for you sharing your story and what you went through is very heartwarming. And then how you come from it, from darkness, into light, and being a voice for encouragement and hope through your beautiful music, and through your voice. So I'm so appreciative that you shared that.
Well, thank you. It's a lot of information, that's for sure. But I'm always happy to, or well, I'm happy to spread the message that you know these are just moments in time, and and I just I really want to just help people with my. And I know everyone says this. Everyone's like, oh, my music can help people, but I really feel like um, music in general can be healing, right? And my purpose, aside from being a mother, is music. And if I can help in any way, I like to do that. So.
Yeah, music has definite powers of healing, that I think just that can be just, so unbounded. So, and I think that's beautiful that you put that intention in there. So it sounds like, with a lot of your composing style is really a lot of healing for you, and bringing out a lot of emotion, and kind of making sense of things, and healing, as a win-win situation, and then just trying to, come out of it, and have some type of feeling that you said, and kind of like, you were saying there was all this numbness, and just a lot of, like, not sure about things, and getting into, like, blaming things, and just, that that's a place that I think of so many people, as I mentioned, can relate to, and different aspects. And thank goodness, for the artists like you that are upfront about it, and release those feelings, and charge your music in such beautiful and meaningful and touching ways.
Well, thank you. And one thing I forgot to mention was when I found that song and my life turned around, right at that moment when I was sitting there and I had tears and I was begging to be experience something, or to I hate using the word saved, but I was just, it was like, please help me. And right then, for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I started to see these like signs everywhere. Um, and like 1111, the number 1111 was just everywhere. Um, and yeah, it just, honestly, it really changed my perspective. My whole perspective shifted. And then someone said to me, something's going to happen to you, right before I started seeing the 1111s. And it was just this crazy time, like the time, what was it? The Twilight Zone. It was kind of like the Twilight Zone was happening in my life. Uh, and I know that so many people can get lost in their darkness, that they don't realize, like myself, I didn't realize, because my parents, in their own way, they're still in their darkness. Like they haven't come out of that. Understandably, losing 3 children. Um, but I'm grateful that I had the opportunity. And it's funny because ever since I discovered meditation, I've been to a few of those 10-day silent meditation retreats. And ever since doing those retreats, it's been so rewarding for me long term, because all of these, like I mentioned before, amazing things started to happen in my life. I started to, well, you just start to pay attention more, to what is around you and to the good. And I also started to get more comfortable with saying no if I didn't want to do something. No, because I was very much a people pleaser. And I guess sometimes I am now, but anyway, that's a whole other discussion.
But it's a beautiful transformation that you're sharing with us, and a beautiful awakening. And I think a testimony to hope that, someone who may be watching this is going through darkness or is coming out of it. It just shows that, there is that light, and that one can get through these things. And
Yeah.
um, I'm wondering if we can touch upon, Annie, your composing creative process. If we can kind of like tap into how that like works for you. I love the meditation that you've mentioned. Does that play in a factor with, like, let's say you get inspired to write something? Do you have like meditation and then you go ahead and start to write, or is it all spontaneous? And do you write about, obviously about your experiences, of course, as we've been noting, but touch upon the whole kind of like gamut and the whole like process of your creativity when you're in that like composing mode.
It's really spontaneous for me. Sometimes I can just sit down and a song will come to me. During the pandemic, I was incredibly inspired. There wasn't much time because I have a 5-month-old in the next room and a 3-year-old as well. And so any chance I get, I will be in this room just creating, but there's not really a chance to record and to complete things the way that I wish to complete them. But yeah, I would say it's different from time to time, from song to song. When I mentioned that experience when my awakening happened, I think you either did already play a song or you're going to play a song. I think Fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
That song, for example, I was just sitting on my couch after a meditation, and it just came to me like within 30 minutes, the whole song was written. And that doesn't usually happen for me. Most of the time I'll just like play the piano. I'll just play the piano and come up with a melody, and then melody always comes first for me. And maybe I'll get one phrase and then I'll write the song surrounding that phrase. But for that specific song, it just felt like it was almost channeling through me, which was very strange, but awesome at the time. And then, yeah, I guess sometimes it's just how I'm feeling in the moment. It'll just translate to to something in my mind, and I'll just sit down with the guitar or the piano, and but it's always melody first for me.
Mhm. Melody always comes first for you. That's like the kind of like the foundation, like the beginning of the house or the beginning of the song for you.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of actually in the last 2 or 3 years, um, I have been writing music and completing some of the music with my husband, who is a phenomenal jazz pianist. Um, he's so talented, and he has been helping me complete a few songs. We've been writing a few songs together uh, since the pandemic started. So those have been a lot of fun too.
Mhm. So prior to
But
prior to the
or-
pandemic, you weren't doing collaborative with your husband. It was really kind of born out of the pandemic. You both of you kind of started to musically collaborate.
yeah, yeah. And then I had already released three albums of work of my own original music that I didn't collaborate with anyone on. They're all my own, but I've always felt that I struggled with lyrics. I don't know, but now I feel like I'm getting better at it. And I also uh, connected with a lyricist, like I mentioned, Noel Cohen. He's in New York, and I have another friend who's a lyricist in Nashville. So we are writing together as well. And I just connected with another lady who we are writing a song together as well. So it's and another guy in Toronto. So I I'm really opening up to that avenue because I feel like I have so much body of work, or this body of work of melodic writing, and I've got the music and the melody. Everything's done in the studio. I'm just missing the words. So it seems to make things go a lot faster to work with a lyricist,
Yeah.
especially one who I feel really connects to my soul, and they just kind of come up with something that is just so perfect for the song.
Right. Like I think a perfect example that we just got to experience was the song that you just sang with Noel, the lyricist. I mean, that was what a beautiful marriage of your beautiful melody, your experiences, sharing them creatively, musically with your voice, and then the lyrics just really going like hand in glove together.
Yeah, and I have written with other people as well in different ways, where you sit down together and you write all the lyrics together, and that works too. Um, but yeah, I'm very very happy with these pairings that I've found. So that's great. And I wanted to add, sorry, I'm going back to this because I know I mentioned that in the past, when everything was negative, to how I am now, I just wanted to mention that I'm in the healthiest relationship that I've ever been in, which again, this should have been said earlier. So maybe we can, but or not. It's fine.
I love it.
Healthiest relationship and two beautiful children. And
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. It's really a whole testimony, as we were saying, to really, major shifts from, darkness, into light from all the different areas of your life. So yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
you sharing that. Um, I'm wondering if we can touch upon also, because I love everything that you're sharing, but you did also produce, I believe it was your third album with Fred Mullen, and I believe it was a Durban Girl.
Yes, I met Fred when I was in Nashville on one of my trips there. And Fred Mullen, he has produced Barbara Streisand and Billy Joel, uh, um, Rita Wilson, who is Tom Hanks' wife, Tom Hanks's wife, just a bunch. Oh, I think Miley Ray Cyrus. I might be getting that wrong. You should just go and look it up. But Fred Mullen, he's a fantastic producer, and we did an album of my songs. And I did an Indiegogo campaign and raised the money to work with him in Nashville, which was a crazy, awesome experience. Um, and then I guess I never really got the chance to kind of promote that album because that was when my husband and I got together and we started having children. So, so my music and also the pandemic and we moved and but Fred was a delight, and I got to record all of the songs in Nashville, and yeah, it was quite the experience. And Durban Girl, all of my albums can be found on Spotify, and and I have a YouTube channel. I would love it if you went and followed me there, if whoever's watching. Um, and oh, and I also do these live session shows. I'm a sessions live singer, so I guess I can give you the link, Leslie, at some point. But I put on these live shows. I haven't done it in about 6 months because of the baby, but I'm hoping to get back into it in the next few weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like you have your hands in some interesting projects. I would love for us to show Fingerprints, as you were alluding to. You went into this meditation, and then all of a sudden you're composing, creating this whole beautiful, as you said, channeled piece of music. Is there anything else you'd like to share about Fingerprints, and then we'll go ahead and show it?
Now that you mention it, so Fingerprints, yes. So I had this meditation, and during the meditation, it was one of my first ever meditations. And I always thought to myself, I don't know how to meditate. Like, what even is meditation? But I sat down and I meditated. And during this meditation, I went about 20 minutes in, and a friend of mine was guiding me just to follow my breath, just follow my breath. And it's very strange once again, but I started to see these beautiful flashing lights, like it started off as twinkly lights in the meditation, not in real life. So don't think I'm crazy, but just kidding. No, so I started to see these beautiful white lights, silvery bright. They were just shining all over me in this meditation. And during the meditation, while this was happening, I felt a thumb on my cheek. And the thumb was just stroking my cheek as if to say, don't cry. And this was at the time of my awakening. And it just, it didn't feel like a real thumb. It felt like, the energy of a thumb. And it was just doing that for a while. And then following that, I wrote this song called Fingerprints. So that's what the song is about.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and show this, Annie. Give me just a second and we'll pull it up. All these people living in their pain, become lost in time. I was searching, now it's making sense. The time is now, the time is now. Felt the fall, heard the call, saw the signs, shimmered lights all over me. A work of art, that's what we are, shining bright, fingerprints all over me. What you give is what you get, you see. Share your heart, share your love. There are reasons for everyone we meet, all a part of who we are. Felt the fall, heard the call, saw the signs, shimmered lights all over me. A work of art, that's what we are, shining bright, with the sun surrounding me. Saved me, forgave me. You can see the signs if you open up your eyes.
to hear the call, feel the light, this light of love all over me. Ooh, a word to life is what we are, shining bright with this grace surrounding me. I had to walk to hear the call, feel the light, this light of life all over me. A word to life is what we are. With this love surrounding me.
Wow, it's been a while since I've seen that.
That was beautiful. How inspiring and so light filled.
Oh, thank you. Um, yeah, it's that's Fingerprints, and I recorded that one with Fred. He really liked that one, so that was recorded in Nashville.
Your voice is so beautiful. I know I mentioned that before, and as we've been corresponding as well. Talk to us about your um, vocal style, how that developed, um, anything, any insight into that that you can share with us.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really allowed to. We weren't allowed to listen to the radio growing up. My mom always said it gave her a headache. She was a huge fan of classical music and choral music. So we all, and my sister would always be playing the piano and practicing on the piano. So, um, my influences was it was very classical growing up. And with all of the competitions that I was doing, I would compete in that in operatic sections as well. So I did some opera training in my 20s, and then in my younger years, like when I was around 13 or 14, I discovered Patsy Cline, and my father gave me the CD for Sweet Dreams. And that was the first time I discovered Patsy Cline. So, and my dad, like I mentioned before, he played the guitar and sang in a band in my teens. So I would get up and sing all of these Patsy Cline tunes with my father from a very, very young age. So there are quite a few different, a mix of genres and styles to my voice, I would say. So there's a little bit of country and some classical tones in there. Um, and then also just, I guess, my own, oh, there's some folk as well. But from all of the classical training and I Stedfords, which is competitions that I used to participate in, I had to learn a lot of old style folk. Um, and that's, yeah, those are basically this. Oh, and I also taught music for 20 years. So, um, and I haven't taught since becoming a mother and since the pandemic. So I've been taking a little bit of a hiatus from that. And but yeah, very much cross genre, I would say, is my music and my voice.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm also kind of discovering my voice a little bit more now. Um, Also, I did some Broadway productions back in South Africa, which is where I'm from. Um, and I would say that I used to sing in a very Broadway musical theater style,
Mhm.
but my voice is changing since the pandemic began, and I guess since being married to Stu, I'm kind of discovering a much more relaxed approach to singing, and my voice is becoming more relaxed, and I feel like I'm really finding it for the first time, which is it's fun, and I'm really excited for this new music and for that I'm working on, and the way in which the performance is coming out. It's a little bit more on the Brandy Carlisle, if you know of Brandy Carlisle. It's in that style with some Patsy Cline once again, and who else could I compare it to? I don't know, Leonard Cohen, but maybe not Leonard Cohen. I'm not sure. Oh, Annie Lennox. Just very kind of, when you speak, you sing, and it's really fun not to be so trying to be so perfect all the time when you're singing, just to kind of let the music, the story tell itself.
Mhm. Yeah,
with the voice.
yes, that's beautiful. What an interesting range of influences and kind of eclectic variety that really create your beautiful, unique voice.
Thank you. Thanks, Leslie.
You know what, Annie? Let's dive into another one of your songs.
Okay. I was going to do a song. Let me see which one I was going to do here. So I was going to maybe should I do a brand new one, or should I do another sort of inspirational one? What do you think, Leslie?
I'm going to leave that up to you.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, because we were talking about this and there's kind of a theme with what we've been talking about, here is a song I wrote. Now this one is one that I wrote myself, and it's called Have a Little Faith. This song is also on Durban Girl. Have a little faith, it's all you can do. Sometimes a miracle can come your way when you need it to. Open the door, let it in, see it through. 'Cause I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Oh, we all love and we all lose. Sometimes the ones who leave us behind, they send us clues. So at night when you feel like dying and the tears won't stop falling, catch a breath, say a prayer, know your love is standing there, and they're listening and they're whispering, I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Something was stolen. There's a war breaking out. But stay in this moment. We will figure it out. 'Cause the sun will keep on rising and the world will keep on turning. They'll be walking right beside you. Think of them, they're thinking of you. Over time you will get stronger. Let your pain be your teacher. And each day they'll be there whispering, I have faith in you. I have faith in you. Open the door, let it in, see it through. 'Cause I have faith in you. I have faith in have faith in you.
Beautiful and inspiring. Thank you so much, Annie.
Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah. All right. Well, we just have a few more minutes before we need to wrap the show up. Annie, I'm wondering, as we close out, um, for any musicians that might be watching, if you have any advice or words of wisdom, and if you could let us know how we can stay connected with you, purchase your albums, and just stay up to date and see what's going on with
Oh,
you musically.
sorry, it just broke up a little bit. Sure. I mean, for other musicians who are out there, it's a really tough time with the pandemic. You can hear my baby crying in the background, sorry. And it's a really tough time, but just keep at it, keep on inspiring, keep on writing from the heart, because that's the best stuff to come out, would be from the heart. So, oh, my poor child. Just that would be my advice, and just keep being authentic. And then you were asking, how people could stay in touch. You could check out my website at anniebonsignore.com, but come into one of my session shows. That would be amazing. I'll send you the link for that, but just search for me. It's Annie live at sessions.com. I think I'll send you the link. And aside from that, you can follow me on Spotify, YouTube. That would be great. Tell your friends about your family, and come and join me for a concert and be a part of the show, because it's always fun connecting with people, especially with everything going on today. And I'm going to do Old Lang Syne now, right?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, I'm hearing my baby scream in the background. I feel like telling my husband to bring him in. My mom does not like hearing her baby cry. Sorry, I'm just shaking my head, looking for the lyrics for this. All right, I found it. So, a nice fact about this song. Thank you so much for asking me to sing it, and thank you so much for having me, Leslie, on Art and Talk. It's been great, and I'm sorry if I was a little bit jumbled here and there. But here is Old Lang Syne. Sorry, here we go. My husband played this song. So the piano player that you hear playing this track of Old Lang Syne is my husband, who is not keeping it together in the next room. Here we go. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet, for days of kindness yet for days of all lang syne. We'll take cup of kindness yet for days of old lang syne.
So beautiful.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you,
you
Annie.
so
We'll take
Thank
a cup
you.
of kindness now and into 2022. Annie,
Quite fitting, I would say.
yes, absolutely. Annie, this has been so awesome to connect with you and dive into your journey and to hear your beautiful voice and your music and to learn about what you've been through and how you leave us with such an inspiring and encouraging note and your beauty and of course your talent. I'm excited to find out how your voice is going to be moving in new directions. As you were saying, you felt like, you're kind of just, kind of expanding and kind of just now finding your voice. And much success with your music and your little ones and your family, and the best of the
Thank
best,
you so
Annie,
much.
in 2022.
All the best to you too, Leslie. Thank you so much again for having me.
Thank you, Annie. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This does conclude our final artist interview for 2021. We'll be back in 2022 with a new lineup of artists to meet, discover, find out about, and of course, always to be inspired by. Thank you for your continued support with Art and Talk. You can find us on YouTube and on Facebook. And we'll see you in 2022. Have a safe and joyous holiday, New Year's Eve celebration, and we'll talk soon in 2022. Until then, be well and be blessed.